Minister of Aviation talking about hosting airspace, in Nigeria, Lagos, sometime next year. But let's not divert from the issues bothering Nigeria as of today. You could recall that over 200 passengers visas were terminated in Saudi Arabia, even when the president of Nigeria was in Saudi Arabia at that time. That was like a week ago. But then the aviation minister should put much more, attention to that, and as well as the foreign ministers, not talking about hosting an airspace in Lagos and all of that. When you look at the politics that is being played in our aviation sector, this we get to understand that the same airline, the Saudi Air that flew Nigeria and Saudi Arabia, has the same visa conveying passengers from Nigeria to Saudi Arabia, but they had no issue. But the one of LPs is having an issue, of which we saw what happened with Emirates Airline, of which now we're having that, okay, they're about to resume back their work. Let's talk about this in a minute. If we want to do things properly, then the Minister of Aviation needs to wade into this matter and see how he can bring, a level playing ground for those people in the aviation sector in order to promote our indigenous airline operators.
You can do two things at a time. Yeah. You can still go ahead, organize this air show next year if he wants to, if that's his priority, but also focus on the airline sector in Nigeria. The airline sector in Nigeria needs a lot of focus. It looks as things are falling apart as we speak. Till date, we've not been able to have a holistic investigation into really what happened in Saudi. If they're saying it's aeropolitics and the likes, then what are our authorities trying to do to be able to cushion the tide of all of this aeropolitics? It's incumbent on them to do something quickly. Concerning the visa, in fact, it was said that there was a particular family that was split, that they went through the Saudi Arabian airline, that they got them in. But that same visa issue happens to the other batch of the family. And what they keep on saying is the fact that, okay, some Nigerians use this business visa and they go ahead and stay there and the Saudi authorities don't want them. But they still accepted them if it was an airline that came in, from their own country. Yeah. So these are the things that the minister should look at critically. Also the state of our airports and our airline sector in general. We've had 2 near mishaps. Planes skidding off the wrong way and things like that. These are issues they should look at. They more to focus on these things. The air show is just jamboree. It's economies that have their head together that do the air show. Yeah. But it is time for him to also persistently look at the problems in the air sector. I think maybe it was just a happy moment thing, in the middle of all of that. Which will do our air show, we'll call you,
2024.
No. See, it's just a 1-day jamboree or 2-day jamboree or 1-week jamboree. Right. But the most important thing is we should build sectors. I think I remember during the Buhari administration, there was a partnership that this same Mr. Hadi Sireka said he brought, that we were supposed to have a joint partnership with some company from Hungary or something, where they were supposed to be assembly places in Nigeria. What happened to partnerships like that? I think these are things we should look at and see how we can build our air sector.
Absolutely. Dr. Bati, quickly.
Okay. You think about this. Let's have this conversation at the comments section. Because you see, Nigeria, as of today, many countries of the world no longer respect Nigeria since the declaration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, probably because of the circumstances that surround his declaration as the president of Nigeria. What do you think? Let's have it at the comment section. Thank you for watching.
Well, the thing to talk about here is that the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development says that he met with officials of Emirates Airlines and that they are likely to announce very soon when they will return to Nigeria. Just to give the background, in 2022, Emirates Airlines decided to suspend flights to Nigeria. For what reason? They said their revenue was trapped in Nigeria, about $85 million, which they could not repatriate because of foreign exchange problems. Some assurances were given. They came back. That was in May. The first time was May, they returned. Then, of course, in August, they said they were going back again. They were suspending their flights again. And since then, the Nigerian government has been trying to find a way to get the Emirates Airlines to return to the Nigerian route. However, airline operators of Nigeria, the local indigenous stakeholders, have a different opinion. They claim that Emirates Airlines is asking for favoritism, right? They just want to be favored to the disadvantage of local airlines that are also flag carriers on the international route. And that whatever the Nigerian government is going to do for Emirates Airlines, it must also do for local airlines, that's Nigerian-owned airlines. If they are going to give assist Emirates Airlines or any other foreign airline with access to Forex, then they must do the same thing for local airlines. So the minister, in saying, oh, they've promised that at a certain time, that date when they will return has not been announced. when President Tinubu visited, there was so much enthusiasm that Emirates Airlines was going to resume flights. It didn't happen. Okay? Now, secondly, the Minister of Aviation must always pay attention to the details of the bilateral services, air services agreement that we signed with these countries. If Emirates Airlines is going to operate a certain frequency into Nigeria, on the basis of the principle of reciprocity, Nigerian flag carriers too must be able to operate the same frequency into the United Arab Emirates. Our minister and our government must not do anything that will be to the disadvantage of Nigerian Airlines. The same case we will make with trips to UAE is the same case that should be made for Saudi Arabia. It's the same case that should be made for trips to London. If British Airways is coming to Nigeria 5-7 days a week, Nigerian flag carriers must also be able to enter London to and fro 7 days a week. That is what is important. So it's not enough to just say Emirates Airlines, they will soon put a date to it, so we should be jubilating. There are basic issues that must be worked out, that must be in the interest of Nigerian passengers and also of Nigerian flag carriers.
Well said.